Today we're going to be talking about area and perimeter along with area and perimeter of complex shapes. In the first example, find the area of the circle and find the perimeter of the rectangle. So this is a shape within a shape, and you've got to pay attention to what's given to you. So for example, if you go to your formula sheet, find your circle, and look at your area formula. It's area equals pi r squared. So I'm going to write down my formula. And I'm going to find my radius. R stands for radius. You want to use the side length of the rectangle to find the radius of the circle. Since the circle goes the entire length of the side of the rectangle. So you know the diameter is 12 meters, so that means the radius is going to be 6 meters. So I'm going to say 3.14 times 6 squared. GEMDAS says that we do our exponents first. So you want to say 3.14 times 36. And this will give you 113 and 4/100 meters squared. Remember, area, you're always going to have your units squared. Now the perimeter of the rectangle, if you don't know your formula, go back to your formula sheet, find your rectangle. The perimeter is 2L plus 2W. My length is 24. My width is 12. So 2 times 24 plus 2 times 12. And again, order of operations states that you multiply before you add. So you get 2 times 24, which is 48, plus 24, which is 72. So 72 meters. Circle both your answers. You have to have your units on the back of your answer. In the next problem, it's talking about the distance. It says how many feet of border are needed to go around a bulletin board that is 4.5 feet. There we go, a square bulletin board that is 4.5 feet on each side. So you know that you're dealing with a square, and it's each side length is 4.5 feet. Okay, the distance around, so that's going to be perimeter. So you go to your formula sheet, find your square. So here's my square. The perimeter is 4 times S. Write down your formula first, then plug in the information given, then find your answer. So 4 times 4.5 is going to be 18. So 18 feet. So the distance around the square is going to be 18 feet. In example 3, find the area of the triangle and find the perimeter of the rectangle. So for the area of the triangle, you need 1/2 base times height. So you get 1/2. The base of the triangle is the same as the length of the square. So it's 13. And remember, your height is straight up from the base, it creates a 90-degree angle, is 9. So you could say 13 times 9, and then to get 117, and take half of that, and you get 58.5 feet. It is area, so it is feet squared. Circle your answer. And then the perimeter of the rectangle, you have the formula up here, is 2 times length times 2 times width. So you get 2 times 13 plus 2 times 9. So then 13 times 2 is 26 plus 18, which will give you 44 feet for the perimeter of the rectangle. Label these as best you can. For example, if you have enough room, label this as area of, label that it's a triangle that you found the area of, and the rectangle was here, so that way there's no confusion in your answer. In example 4, we're actually going to find the area of this. This is a parallelogram, and the area formula of a parallelogram does not show up. Oh, there it is. It's on your formula sheet right here. And it's very similar to the area of a rectangle. It is your base times your height. So your base down here and your height, which is straight up, similar to a triangle where you have to go straight up from the base to create a 90-degree angle. So here you have your base and your height, which is straight up from your base, creating that 90-degree angle. So area equals, it's going to be 90 times 90. And that's going to give you 8,100 feet squared. Circle your answer. Let's look at number 6. There's no picture there, so take a second and draw the one given. Note that all the boxes represent 90 degrees, and that you can find this by splitting it into 2 different shapes. I'm going to split it going this way. You could have split it going this way. Either way is fine. So it says find the area of, we'll call it a shape instead of a rectangle, with the so scratch out the rest of this. So these are 2 shapes put together, so you want to find the area of both of them and then add them together. So for instance, you need to find what this side length is. If you know the whole thing is 8 feet, and then up to here is 6 feet because of the other side, you're going to know that the remaining amount is going to be 2 feet. So this rectangle here is 3 feet by 2 feet. So the area of rectangle 1 is going to be 3 times 2 to give you 6 feet squared. And the area of rectangle 2 is going to be 6 feet tall by 10 feet long to give you 60 feet squared. Now you take the 2 answers and you add them together to give you a total of 66 feet squared for your total area. Pause the video and try 5, 7, and 8. One thing I want to mention about number 6, if you were to find the perimeter of this shape, make sure that the perimeter is just adding up all the sides. So you would have said 8 plus 10 plus 6 plus 7 plus 2 plus 3. You would not include this dotted line here because that is not a border. If you have any questions on this page, ask your teacher.